You want to talk about actors who are getting too old? The guy who plays Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, looks like his face is made out of Play-Doh.
Yeah, I wonder if
Jeremy Renner 2019. That's funny because we've made fun of him for this before.
I know.
So I semi disagree with Kyle. How old is he, first of all? Do you know?
I'm going to guess 52.
I'm going to guess 48.
Are you right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought he's 48.
Oh, hell yeah.
He does not look like 48. He looks like 56.
I would actually
48.
argue.
Maybe I'm not looking at the pictures you're saying.
Yeah, I'm going to type in Jeremy Renner 2019.
I mean, in the movie, he looked bad. Like his skin looks all old and pockmarked, and he just. And they're going to do on this chart here. It's got him in a Hawkeye TV show in like a couple of years. And it's like, Jesus Christ, how's he going to? Like Sam and Dean in Supernatural are getting a little old, and I think they're still in their like late 30s, early 40s, or something like that.
I like Jeremy Renner in that bomb defuse movie.
That was great. Good. The Hurt Locker is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm intentionally clicking on pictures where I think Jeremy Renner doesn't look his best, and in my head, I think he's top 10% of 48-year-olds. You know, if you went to some guys like.
Well, you're top 2% then.
I think that, I don't know, just if you looked at the actual population of what 48-year-olds look like, if you went to Cisco IT and gathered all the 48-year-olds, Jeremy Renner would be the hottest guy there.
Yeah.
It's just in Hollywood 48-year-olds.
And that's it.
Bottom half.
Cisco, the tippity top.
Woody is a very nice looking 48, right?
46.
46.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I was giving you a couple extra there.
I should have went with 50 to be better looking still.
Yeah, I have this theory. Good looking man, you don't look your age at all, and you're getting fit. I have this theory that Jackie doesn't care for that at all, and that she's like sneaking calories into your food or something like that. She's like, I can't have this millionaire flying around the country looking back good.
She literally made me breakfast in bed this morning. You might be onto something.
Have some more maple syrup. No. Sip it.
Do people know what toad in the hole is? Is that it?
Oh, Jackie, there's
like little toast
trail mix in my orange juice. Yeah.
Is this just butter?
Did you melt the stick of butter?
It's Butterade. It's better than Gatorade.
It's got electrolytes and
lipids.
All your daily lipids.
All your daily lipids in 1 ounce.
What is
this? Is a jug of fat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she made me breakfast in bed this morning with a coffee and whatever.
That was nice of her.
Yeah, she's really great. I'm a big fan. But
she's drugging you.
That could be. Yeah, just
you always see that like those movies where that's going on, and like the wife's always sick and they can't figure out what it is, and it's the husband dosing her, you know, something.
Yeah.
Bit by bit. Why don't they dose a little heavier?
Because they like, it's real sick. They like the attention that they are getting, the sympathy that they are getting for being the spouse of someone who is so ill. So everybody's coming
with moms doing that to kids. That's
Stockholm
That's what happens in house
Stockholm
all
syndrome.
the time. It's Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Yep. I know someone who had that go on in their life. Yeah.
I like to think that Taylor is the the version of House that just thinks everyone has that. Like every child that
instead
comes
of lupus, it's just me screaming at family members. What have you done to her? She has pancreatic cancer. Yeah, we'll see about that. And my Australian, my woman, and my black doctor assistants are like, no, we're positive it's pancreatic cancer. And I'm like, I'm gonna go take pills and hobble into the bathroom, you know, and then diagnose her with lupus. And it's like I don't know where you get off with this. You're not Dr. House. He died of an overdose. You came to fill his place and very quickly became addicted to painkillers. Like,
your leg is
you don't need that cane.
I went pretty hard on, I don't know the actor's name, you might, Hawkeye from Marvel.
Yeah, the guy who plays Hawkeye has aged very poorly.
I think
he looks like a catcher's mitt.
Is it something Renner?
In my head, he aged
Jeremy Renner.
Averagely, if that's a word, but he aged Hollywood poorly, right? Like
look at Iron Man, who's like 10 years older. Robert Downey Jr. is like 50 or something, and Renner's like 40.
Is that true? Maybe I'm wrong.
It's my perception of things. There might be 3 or 4 years of play, but my perception is that Yeah, my perception is that Robert Downey Jr. is like 51 and Jeremy Renner is like 42.
49.
Renner's 49?
Yeah.
Well, goddamn. He looks at least that, I guess.
Yeah,
he just
right?
looks so wrinkly.
I actually thought he was like 52, but not far from 49. Just
Where are you seeing that he looks terrible? He looks not bad.
In the Marvel movies.
yeah,
I haven't seen those.
Oh,
Like, especially like the last couple of Avengers movies, it's like, man, Hawkeye looks like shit.
Hawkeye looks like
That was
shit.
his character.
He's just depressed because he's got bow skills.
his neck.
Give the man a rifle. They translate. Those skills will translate to the rifle.
All right, we're sorry to break it to you, Hawkeye, but we're removing you from the team for an actual sniper.
How
My name's Craig. I'm not even that good.
My name's Craig. I actually didn't make it to the final Marine school, but I did a little test earlier. I will triple your effectiveness immediately.
Do you know his name when he gets the sword, Kyle? He's not Hawkeye. He's like someone else.
Oh no, that's too in depth for me. I don't recall that. I don't even think they said it in the movie. That may be some comic shit.
His hair looks awful.
Yeah, that's after his wife and children were turned into dust, though. So you can't blame him.
He got a haircut after that?
His wife and children turned to dust.
Doesn't make much sense, does it?
And he becomes another character's name who I can't recall. And he's not just Hawkeye. Hawkeye in his like ninja phase. And he just starts like the Yakuza and people like that. He's a little too ruthless. And
Ronin.
What happened to Jeremy Renner?
I don't know who that is.
He
I know.
played Hawkeye,
So
I think, and he got hit by a snowcat.
yeah,
Wow.
all right. So here's the story, and
Sneak up on him?
my interpretation is that they were doing something maybe a little bit silly, and there was a couple guys there, so maybe they're saying the story one way that doesn't quite make a ton of sense, so that nobody's culpable. But one way or another, an unattended snowcat rolled over Jeremy Renner, and he may lose his foot. He's alive. He's gonna live. He posted his post was like, "I'm still alive, bitch," and his face is a little beaten up, but no worse than like a bad UFC fight. Not even quite that bad, maybe.
Did he have blunt force trauma to his chest, or am I conflating him and the football player?
I don't know about that. All I know is
Tim
what I
Block.
read was he might lose the foot.
Is that the second snowmobile accident in a week?
Renner underwent 2 surgeries the next day after suffering blunt chest trauma and orthopedic injuries. The actor's snowplow was a piston bully or snowcat, an extremely large piece of snow removal equipment weighing at least 14,000 pounds. Yeah. And I guess in his foot too. I don't know. And I guess he was
through.
ICU for a while. So
You put him in an Iron Man suit, and suddenly Tony Stark's out of a job. Now he's just the bankrolling guy.
it is questionable that Tony Stark didn't make Iron Man suits for everybody. Every one of the superheroes would have benefited from it.
What a piece
Iron
of
Man
shit.
suits across the board.
He's got more money than God, right? So I've seen like at least 2 of the Iron Man
Why didn't
movies,
they all get
and
suits?
at any given time when he doesn't
Spider-Man
have a
got a
suit,
suit.
he's like, Jarvis, another suit, please, and then another suit shoots out of the fucking bar in his office,
Right.
and then it catches him.
The guy's
he
got
make
like
Spider-Man a
29
suit?
suits lined up for himself,
that's
and
just-
everyone else is in
Oh yeah,
underoos.
This
and
is
then
quickly
he's
going to
like
become like
making fun. He's like, "Oh, I gotta. Hey, Hawkeye, here's an arrow that blows up." Like he's like laughing at him. He's like, "Oh, here's
Fuck you, that's a bottle rocket.
Yeah, it's a bottle rocket,
Asshole.
That's all he's doing.
Here's your new arrow.
Captain
Made by
America
Black
sucks,
Cat.
man.
Yeah.
Captain America sucks.
No,
Pretty
you're
much
right
all
about-
of them. How much would their efficacy change if it was just the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man? If it was just those 3, now who couldn't they handle from a fighting perspective?
They need Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
okay,
Tide.
she's Superman, right?
Scarlet, yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Better
Yeah,
than
that's fair.
Superman.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Witch.
Superman without like the vulnerabilities almost, right? Does she have vulnerabilities?
You need
Not
vulnerabilities or you're a
many.
boring character.
Yeah.
Well, that was always the problem with Superman. So Superman was always a very boring character to like read
He
or
turns
watch.
evil
Justice
for
League
1
was
week a month.
ridiculous. Justice League, it's like a 2-hour movie. They spent an hour
That's
and
the
45
best.
minutes trying to wake up Superman. And then the last 15 minutes, Superman easily handles the problem.
It was more of a scheduling error than it was an actual problem. Oh my god! I thought
He's off
shift from outer space were coming next Wednesday.
You're gonna have to wait till we open.
Yeah,
I saw an animated skit earlier, and it's basically Captain America waking up and Iron Man trying to catch him up on what things are like these days. Like, hey, but what he's really doing is trying to find a fellow racist and bigot. And he's like, so you're probably wondering why all those blacks are just running around. And he's like, no, actually, I thought it just what? And the women, and it's like every step of the way, Tony Stark's just a huge piece of shit, and Captain America's shocked by it. It's great.
that's
I love
pretty
it.
funny.
He's like, no, I'm from the 40s, but I'm not a scumbag. What's wrong with you?
He's like, Tony Stark's like pissed. He's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I get the one bitch from the 40s.
I wanted to talk about fucking Kanye at some point.
I want to know because it got touched on while you guys were talking about Captain America murdering people. I don't watch the Marvel movies, but I've never thought Captain America was cool. Filthy, you said you hate him.
Yeah.
Bolster
hate
my
that storyline.
pre-decided belief.
He's literally
on
a
this.
short guy who isn't doing so well, right? Like he's like a soldier. They're like, we need a super soldier, and they like the first thing they do is add like 4 inches to him because he's not like physically enough of a specimen, and he's just some guy that they're like, yeah, take these drugs and go kill people, and that's his like whole thing, and it's like little man syndrome all the way. Yes, it is.
You missed
It's like,
it.
he's got like this. In what sense?
He's the perfect guy. It's the whole great power requires responsibility thing. Like in the testing, they've got. Remember when they're doing but when they're doing the whole field trials with Tommy Lee Jones and everything, they got this big ox of a motherfucker over there who looks like who could beat up 3 men on his own, and they're like, clearly the ox is the guy we should give the super serum to, and the guy like throw the dummy grenade amongst the men.
And they were right.
And Captain America immediately is the guy who's on it. Get away! Get away! He's trying to save everybody. That's the guy you give the. Otherwise, you end up with a villain. You give it to the Ox Man, and you just get more.
Thank God that loser protected Ox.
That's funny.
God damn it! You've got some of that loser on you. Come here. You got some all over you.
Somebody wiped the loser off.
Viscera on your marble body. Like, let me get that off. No,
like
honestly,
that.
think about how quickly they would have beat the Soviet Union had they given it to Ox.
It just seemed like
It was
such a
the Nazis.
propaganda story. It was like
Union.
I don't know when it happened, man. I don't know. I don't know
was
what
the
the
Nazis.
backstory of this is.
He fought the Soviets later in the comics, but
Yeah.
it's the Nazis. Well, no,
I don't like him. He seems like he's too
Yeah, he
tryhard
did.
for me
Yeah, he
because he's so outclassed by the other superheroes. He can't fly. He can't jump as high as the rest of them. Like he's not as fast.
He's incredibly strong. He's incredibly powerful,
and not in that world.
And his shield, in that world, and his shield is one of those like MacGuffin items in that universe. It's very, very powerful.
Well, okay,
even the shield is super lame though, right? Like,
yeah,
like
shield is
seriously,
lame.
like that's
It's so great that it's a defensive weapon, not an offensive weapon. Like it would have been so easy to make
all the same.
You should love Captain America because he so easily could have been like some big dick asshole with a giant, like a Rambo copy.
Yeah, it could have been realistic. That's what we are.
I like Captain America. He's one of my favorites. Batman's my favorite though. I like the
No
power
one's
down.
mentioned
Like
leadership. Like
Yeah, but
he leads the
fucking
group.
Christ.
Someone
a
has to
captain.
coordinate all.
they
the
don't have a
other people.
choice. Chain of command.
That's true.
Woody.
No,
My
but
bad.
they listen to him the same way like a trained hippo listens to a guy like
That's not true.
like
He orders
Iron
him
Man.
around.
If Iron Man and Captain America are in their little fucking meeting room where all the superheroes are, and Captain America's like, "This is the move," and then Iron Man's like, "Interesting, I like it. This is, I think this is another idea." Everyone in that room is like, "That's fucking Tony." Home run again. Like everyone would take it, everyone would take his side because on some level you realize like this fucking idiot from the 40s, like who's not as strong as, you know, apparently just as much a member of the team as the bow and arrow guy. Like when shit gets real, you send Thor because he's a god. You send the Hulk.
Yeah.
You send
Fair.
Iron Man. You don't send Captain America to be like, you know what? I think I can direct this police station to handle this wrong.
When an army of Leviathans is attacking your team of superheroes, you need Captain America to coordinate shit.
Yeah, and you don't want a guy standing on the ground with a fucking shiny shield to hold off of space invaders coming through the rift up in the sky. Like, he's just lacking the necessary equipment to do this.
Yeah.
He's
Put
down
him
here
in an iron
waiting
suit.
on him.
I mean, if you're throwing shit at people, you have to be stopped.
Okay, Saturday.
You have to put
you have to be stopped.
like Mr. Freeze.
That is behavior that we as a society cannot abide. Like
The shit throwers and the Green Goblin. We must put a stop to them.
Honestly, probably the Green Goblin is a lot less scarier than like someone throwing, E. coli in your mouth. Which
I don't know. Green Goblin's kind of bad.
He had those little green bomb things he threw in that gas.
I don't remember the film.
You don't remember the film?
I remember not being that scared of him because it's like this guy's outpaced by helicopters, like even basic like NYPD stuff. Like even in the air, he's not that.
He had a jet thing. The little thing he's flying around. They had jets. That thing had.
You could have shot him out of the air. He's a guy who
he's
works
got
at a
metal
lab.
armor on.
Yeah, but it's not magic. Spider-Man beats the shit out of him.
A very agile hoverboard.
Actually, Spider-Man does that backflip, and he impales himself with his own glider. If you remember,
I was banking on like him on Spider-Man.
Spider-Man doesn't kill. No, Spider-Man lets them like he's like what's that fake martial art, Woody, where you like redirect them? It's not Tai Chi. It's like
Akimbo.
Aikido.
That's it. Thank you.
Akido's that stupid dog. Akimbo's when you got two guns.
Aikido. You had it. Yeah.
Okay. All stupid things equally. That's how Spider-Man kills things. Same with Batman, really, if you think about it. Batman will be more direct. He'll like dangle you over the roof, and then when you fall, he's like, "Oh."
Yeah, he lets gravity do it, but he pulls you off.
You know who's way more badass? Captain America. Captain America.
I hate that hero.
Captain America shoots a gun. Captain America will rip open the lid of your tank and throw a grenade in there. I was watching him recently, Jackie and I, and it was just like, my God, there are a lot of people getting killed. I saw Captain America take his shield and shred open the side of a tank. And then he hit people in the head with the same fucking shield. Like, they didn't live.
They're dead.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's fine because it's World War II, right? Those were Nazis.
They were.
And you
Nazis.
can do anything you want to a Nazi. I watched a really interesting video today about Star Wars. Don't stick with me here. It's not gonna get that nerdy, but it was more about the concept of the Stormtroopers being these faceless, expendable bad guys, and we feel nothing for them as they die one after another. But the whole point of maybe the Force Awakens, the one with that black gentleman and Daisy Ridley, he was a stormtrooper at the beginning, and the beginning of that starts with his stormtrooper buddy dies on a stormtrooper battlefield, and his buddy's like bloody handprint goes on Finn's face. I think his name was the character,
yes.
And now I don't want to be a stormtrooper anymore. I'm a good guy. But the whole concept of that means that all of the stormtroopers are just child soldiers who just need like a moment of waking up and being a decent person.
No, the other ones aren't deserters like this punk. This punk sees one bad day and suddenly he wants to not fight anymore.
He goes full PTSD while his buddies die around him and breaks from his child soldier life and the Empire. And runs away, joins the rebellion, and then in the same movie, he's the gunner in their ship, killing his buddies, and he's going, "Woo! Did you see that one?" Like he's gunning that, like da 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 da. It would be the same as if, like, now imagine it's World War II movie, and he was the good Nazi. The one stormtrooper takes his helmet off. That's what they called the Nazis, right? The originally a World War I thing, German thing. They were the storm men. Right, but then they carried that over into sort of a paramilitary group under Hitler. And anyway, the good Nazi joins like our side, and then later on, he's immediately just killing other Nazis, and he's like, "Yes, die, you scum! Teach you to mess with the Jews, right, guys? Right?
So we are on the same team. I know about rockets too. You know,
he'd be like, "Don't trust him."
Yeah, of course not. You'd be like, "He's still a fucking Nazi, bro." Like,
that's the thing about being a pilot. Like, you cause all the same like destruction and death and horribleness and PTSD that anybody else in the military does, but you don't experience it.
The thing that happens a lot is people don't look like they used to. This is actors. Aaron Moriarty, when The Boys dropped,
everybody was shitting on her because she used to be prettier. Zac Efron, his face has changed. Now it's kind of squarish.
He's got like Easter Island head.
Well, he had an accident of some kind.
But it doesn't add up. The accident is like 5 years apart from the facial change. Like it's,
is it?
It's yeah. I looked into it. I make mistakes, but yeah, it might have been.
Baron Moriarty got plastic surgery to like.
It seems that way. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks more like a cat than a person now.
Tom Cruise got a lot of attention lately because I guess he parachuted into the Olympics and his face looked a lot different than it used to. And I'm like,
that chick from Always Sunny. What was her name? She looks
Caitlin Olsen.
Different. She looks completely different.
I didn't know
she's
that.
51. I mean, she's hanging in there.
I remember Jeremy.
Not only
Jeremy Renner
different, they put that CGI shit on her too, like that weird filter that makes her. I see it every now and then, and
this is like, Always Sunny.
Yeah,
yeah. And then the Marvel guy who played, is it Hawkeye, the white guy who could shoot bow and arrow?
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, so he got older, as we all do, right? And his neck got kind of loose, and everyone was talking about that. And it's like, God, it is hard to have that many eyes on you, and when you are the product, and someone's like, "Hey, you look expired, bro." Like,
oh, you know who does look expired? Anthony Hopkins. Dude,
oh yeah,
dude,
I'm
he's
watching.
Like
there's this show on Peacock. It's actually pretty good. It's Those About to Die. It's about the Roman Empire and gladiators, and it goes back and forth between the emperor's family and like slaves and gladiators and chariot racers and shit like that. It's a good time. But Anthony Hopkins is the emperor of Rome, and he looks 100. He looks so old. He can't have much more time left. I bet he's 92 in RL.
He's 86.
Is he? He looks 92 at least. He looks rough.
I can't tell the difference between 82 and. Did you say 96?
He looks frail. He looks like his character in the show. I'm like, is he gonna die?
Is Biden 82? Is that what 82 looks like?
No,
Biden is 82. Isn't that right?
But what I'm saying is,
He'll be 82.
I don't think it's fair to say that's what 82 looks like. They hit him with a spray tan. You think
he's a good 82?
Nice. Yeah, he's a great 82. He's a fantastic 82. He's like top 2% 82-year-olds in the world because they're hitting him with. He's got a makeup artist, a hairdresser, and he's got a spray tan operator. Like
a
plus
personal doctor.
Plus his boys operate the cameras that get. Well, all right, he goes out in public, so there's all kind of cameras. But when he's in the Oval, when he's on camera for a real event, like
look at the
he looks good. He looks good for 82.
I would argue he looks good sometimes. He has good days.
Sure.
You mentioned Jeremy Renner.
I didn't hear.
He got hit by a snowplow. Do you remember the snowplow thing that happened like a year ago?
Not a snowplow.
Snowcat. Like what they use
treaded things that they use on ski slopes, not a truck with a plow.
Okay. And so like what how did that happen? Did he bought one and then he ran over himself, or he let a friend fuck around with his snowcat and then he got hit?
So here's what. This happens occasionally. You'll have a story where two guys and there's an accident and it's ambiguous exactly what went down. They're like, oh, it all happened so fast. They were horsing around clearly, right? like
I'm going to ride on the front of it.
You ever see that guy? There's this video of a farmer with a hay baler, and he jumps out the side of the tractor and runs in front of it and lays down and lets it bale him into a square bale of hay. And it's like,
Jesus Christ.
It's clearly fake. Yeah. But I thought it was real forever, and I was like, that should have killed him. Because I know generally how hay balers work. I've driven one before. Yeah. And I was like, maybe he knows right where to lay. But I think that's what happened with Jeremy Renner. I think they were horsing around with a fucking snowcat, and he's never going to be right. He said that. He's like, I'll never be the same again.
It like mangled his legs, right?
Yeah. On the hay baling thing. Jesus. So I watched this YouTuber, and his whole thing is making hay. That's what he does. He leases farms and makes hay, and he's got a pretty big operation. Anyway, he has subscribers who think that hay baling reference is the video you talked about is real. And they're all like, I'm going to prank you. I'm going to lay out in the field when you're baling someday, and I'm going to be in one of your hay bales. And he had to issue like a public, what do they call it? Public
service announcement?
Oh, yeah, thank you. A PSA, yeah. And he's like, do not lay in the fields while I'm baling. Do not do that. There's a real chance I won't see you. I'm looking at like so many instruments and such, like while he's doing that job. Yeah, and I think there's also like I don't know, like how hard it's working, how full the bale is, how much twine he has. He has a lot to monitor at the same time. And he's like, there's a real chance I'll run you over. And it's not like that video. You die. You'll be a bloody mess. You'll have just a smushy hay bale.
That the cows aren't going to want. It's gonna be,
they'll love it. They don't mind.
No?
Dude, I just found a list of Jeremy Renner's entire injuries. This is so much worse than what I thought. I thought he kind of just got clipped over the ankles.
You know what a funny game would be? Like, take his list and take Kobe's autopsy report and see if we can distinguish which one is which. Like,
as soon as I see the degloved penis, I know who's who.
Thank you. Yeah, that's where I was headed with all this.
God!
I always like to bring up Kobe's degloved penis when
I can't believe
whenever
I
we do
found
the show,
both of
really.
these that quickly.
Leave out the degloved penis.
Hold on,
Let's make this a challenge.
This is like 20 pages of autopsy report. And they really go into detail with these things.
Well, it was his too. The doctors were really taking their time, like measuring his degloved penis and such.
You think
I would love to. Now I'm curious.
Dude, I promise you, if one of our white dicks got degloved and chopped off in a helicopter crash, they wouldn't find that shit.
Yeah,
exactly. His was hanging out like a baby arm in like the field. They're like,
was like, here,
oh my God, it's a child's arm. Oh wait, no.
I don't see what happened. Both his pinkies are there. How do we get an extra?
Looks like a snake died over here too. Oh my God.
I will say,
honestly, this is harder than I thought because Jeremy Renner's injuries are so bad that some of these there's like overlap in what happened to Kobe falling out of the sky in a fiery cataclysm, and this guy horsing around with a snowcat.
See, the way Woody likes to hold the dock to the fire, I feel that way about Kobe. So I never let it slide that he raped that lady in wherever it
Kobe
was.
was a way better
Colorado.
That sounds right.
Kyle, who's this? 6 broken ribs in 14 places.
Oh, that's got to be Jeremy Renner.
You think that's Renner?
Yeah.
Give us another one.
That is Renner.
Okay.
All right, nailed it. 1 point.
Blunt trauma to the neck, left shoulder, and lower abdomen.
Kobe.
Kyle?
Say Renner.
I'm going to go Renner again.
That's Kobe. I need to not be making it clear what monitor
he was torn to shreds and they're noting some bruising.
Traumatic amputation of lower extremities. Which one?
That's Renner.
That's Renner again. That's Renner again.
Yeah, Renners are 6 broken ribs in 14 places, 3 breaks in lower pelvis, 1 Hoffa break in femur, displaced distal femur, right ankle broken, left leg broken, tibia broken, left ankle broken, right clavicle broken, right shoulder blade broken, eye socket, jaw, mandible broken, left hand broken, wrist fractured, left foot, 3 breaks, 2 middle toes broken, left side of foot cracked, lung collapsed, liver pierced with a rib bone, head, major lacerations to the back, stapled shut, can't hear out of right ear.
What?
Major strain to right knee, unknown extent. That seems kind of thrown in here. Contusion and impact to left eye.
That is wild.
Wait, did it have to do with Hawkeye?
Will you show me a picture of a snowcat? Because I'm picturing is it the thing with treads?
With
it's
the
like
cage on the front.
I need to see one though to try to. I'm guessing.
Tank.
It looks like
tank.
Dude, it's
like a snow tank, right? Okay, I wanted to make sure I was thinking of the same thing.
Drives to try and save.
All right, so we know what happened. Clearly, it ran him over. There's for a while I was like, what does like a snowcat have, like a boom arm? But as I'm thinking, I'm doing what Taylor said, like thinking of the snowcat from The Shining, and I'm like, wait, he just got crushed. Imagine those blades like running you over.
He doesn't have to.
Oh, let's hope that's not the one that got him.
No, I think Renner's Dunzo.
They got
that's
some
the one.
smaller ones. I would assume he doesn't have like a giant industrial one.
I mean, he's Jeremy fucking Renner. Hawkeye can afford a snowcat.
What was he doing with it? Does he like plow his own ski slope?
Just futzing around.
I mean, maybe.
Not anymore.
I'm wrong. It's a 14,000 pound snow plow. I think I'm sorry about saying
so.
Snowcat.
Was a plow?
Yeah, but 14,000 pounds, and he had just used it to get somebody's car unstuck. I guess it was stuck in the snow. Then he got off the plow.
Oh, here he is.
See, that was my assumption. Was he just
is that him in it, or is that a shot that's blurry?
I don't know.
Oh.
It does look like him.
That's him.
Okay,
oh my
that's
God.
him. All right.
Good
so-
job, Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. I guess it wasn't a snowcat.
That's
I
the
wasn't so
body
crazy.
cam.
It's
Oh,
a
there's
snowcat
body
plow.
cam.
So,
Wait, why
so
is there
here's what
body
happened.
cam?
In short, he helped unstuck somebody's car. He got out, and the thing like wasn't in park, and it rolled over him. Boom.
Fuck.
Oh, he was being nice.
Like Anton Yelchin. Remember
I'm
that
watching
Star
this
Trek
body
actor?
cam footage right now
He got
Oh.
crushed by his Durango
on that
or some shit.
Facebook link.
No, it was a Jeep. I
Wait,
remember.
I want to get this out too. It was rolling, and while it was rolling, he tried to jump into the driver's seat to stop it from
Yeah,
rolling.
that's what I
further,
assumed happened. Was he
farther.
left it running? He jumped out. It was probably stopped, like it was like in a snowbank or something, and he's like, "Oh, it stopped. He forgot to put it in park."
Yeah,
There's a
And
good
start
deal of
rolling
blood
again.
on the snow.
should use a stunt man for that one, huh? Yeah, those Marvel movies went to his head. He thought he could jump into a moving snowcat.
He thought he really could disarm bombs.
A stuntman probably would have done that. Cool.
Yeah, oh,
I
for
saw
sure.
I saw Jeremy Renner walk on stage. He looked good in his outfit. I can't tell if he's really lopsided like this or if his blazer just fit funny.
It was
And
probably the lopsidedness.
Recovering
Could-
from grievous
could be.
injuries.
Is this
And,
Taylor blind or was he crippled?
I couldn't see a limp, but the camera had like 3 cuts and he was walking from behind. Like you didn't get to really see his gait like I
Yeah.
wanted.
Well, it seems like
Would
his
you
left side caught hell, so he probably is a little.
Dude, there is just blood on the snow. He got fucking squashed. Shit.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a little overblown when they were like, he almost died. No, very clearly, that's like a worse conglomeration of injuries than most people will ever suffer.
We already lost Black
Yeah.
Panther. We can't lose Hawkeye.
Black Panther died.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Smoked too
Oh
many
no,
menthols.
I heard about this. For some reason, I didn't think it was the Black Panther actor. I thought it was a supporting actor from the movie Black Panther who died.
There he is.
I mean, if after those injuries, that's how he's walking, I think he's doing great.
Yeah, well, I was. There's like a whole article about all the physical. He's taking the physical rehabilitation seriously. He's going nuts because he's like, I got to get back to work. I'm
Well,
Hawkeye.
shout out to Jeremy
damn it.
Renner for surviving kind of a hell of his
And
own
it-
making.
A hell of his own making.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get in this snowplow. Oh fuck!
That just
as a
sucks.
fellow physical moron, though, like I feel for him.
Oh yeah.
One time I was working on my truck and the Tacoma, the parking brake, it was more like a suggestion, like it would slow the
Yeah.
car down kind of, but if it was on any kind of incline, it would roll. And you had to have it in gear. Anyway, the parking brake was on, but it wasn't in gear and it started rolling back down my driveway. So I did the same thing Renner did. I opened the door while it was rolling down the hill. I hopped in the driver's seat. I hit the brake. Everything worked out fine. But it could have gone the other way.
I have a steep driveway, but not like a super long driveway. And it was maybe 2 winters ago after we got a lot of snow. And I had like pulled up and I was just going to park my car on my driveway because there was something in the garage at the time. And I parked it and I got out. And as I was getting out and like opening the door, my whole car started sliding backwards. And I had like a cognitive, like, I wanted to jump back in the car and I literally pulled myself back away from the door because I had like a flash image in my head of myself like getting clipped by the door and then having my head exploded like a cantaloupe on my snowy driveway. And I was like, no, just step back. It'll slide to the bottom of the driveway and then you can just drive it back up. And that's what I did because I
I'm
would've
mad.
hurt myself.
I'm mad Reddit got rid of that board where you could just watch videos of people getting crushed by industrial equipment and
Oh my
falling into balers and shit.
So
Because that
negative.
shit instilled, when I watched all that shit, I was like, oh, don't work in a Chinese factory. Don't try to chase down your car that's, running backwards. It's just like, don't ride a bike in Brazil. Or
Is it bad to
anywhere.
grab a lathe?
Yes, it is very bad.
Okay.
Don't wear anything near a lathe. If you're working with a lathe, you should be completely naked at all times and have your penis tucked
Oh
between
my
your
God.
legs. Because they
Dude,
just suck any part of you into that thing and spin you around like a rag
Woodworkers will
doll.
tell you if you work around spinny things, gloves are more dangerous than you think.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, like the leather palms on a gloves will really grip and get caught up, and it'll be a problem.
Oh yeah, dude, lathes in China are like mosquitoes in Africa, from what I can tell online. 'Cause they can't stay away from those things, and they're getting shredded.
Chinese
Shredded.
people they're constantly spinning shit for some reason.
And they just
You guys
reach right in.
Up.
One guy who's like 55 years old. He's clearly the lathe guy. It's not lathe day one. Just reaches in, gets torn to shred. Kyle sent me one like lathe accident video years and years ago, and I think I've only seen the same one a couple times, and I hated it. Just seeing like, oh man, you can really go from like a person who could have had dinner that night to just
a wet bag of meat spinning in a circle endlessly.
I've seen the other side of that twice recently, right? So picture a big industrial spinny thing. It might be a lathe or something, or a PTO shaft. And some guy gets too close to it. Twice this has happened, like this month. And it completely rips their shirt or jacket off. And they're 1,000% okay. They're just disrobed. And they're like, oh my God. Like, do you know how close that was? Yes, I do know how close that was. They just lost my button-down shirt.
Did you see that Atlanta airport sucked into engine? I need to find that story. This like woman who was like on the tarmac, I guess, wasn't paying attention and walked in front of a running engine, and she got sucked in, and like the news picture like showed the aftermath, and it's like a cartoon, just like a red spray out from behind of the engine. Like it's fucking insane. Do you even have a second to realize what's happening when you're sucked in? Like there must be a split second where you realize your error. Then that's so scary. There's nothing you can do.
The way the suction works, like when you're not in front of a tube, like I'll make up numbers, so don't 6 foot is deadly. 9 feet doesn't feel like much.
Mm-hmm.
Like it all comes from right in front of that engine.
Yeah. I saw one video years ago of people getting out of a helicopter, and someone like the way you'd like get out of a car when someone parks. Sometimes you walk around the back to, walk in or whatever. And this person walked around the back of the helicopter while the rotor was still going, and it just head gone, just dead instantly.
I mean, that's obviously not a thinking man's mistake, but they're like kind of invisible when they get spinning like that.
Yeah. That's every time I see videos like that, I'm like, I'm no better than that person. Like I could have been got. Like I could be the person.
At least not on your worst day, right? Mm-hmm. That guy's probably better than that guy 80% of the time.
Yep. Yeah, just one horrid mistake and like, nope, life's over. That's the end.
I could see myself, taking out a ladder, not seeing the power lines. The next thing I know, I'm one of these guys.
I'm not above that.
I saw a video. I don't know. I was like, those guys are dead. And somehow they're alive. It was like 3 kids going to whatever Chicago music festival. And they're like, let's take an iconic picture of ourselves sitting on the Chicago train lines. And the 3 of them are sitting there. And then one guy reaches back and touches the 3rd rail. And his buddies are like, what are you doing, man? And then the girl reaches for him. She's like, and his other buddy's like, my friends are on fire and 10 million volts are going through their body. And then they're like, somehow they survived that, which made no sense to me.
Dude, just like this year, I was installing a ceiling fan myself. And Jackie, my smarter wife, says, should we turn it off at the circuit breaker? And I was like, no, I thought of that. I turned it off at the switch. That apparently is not how that works. Somehow when you turn it off at the switch, there's still power at the part you're working on. Dude, the ceiling, this is the Game of Thrones room. So the ceiling is like, I don't even know, 20 feet tall or something. I'm way up there on a ladder. And thankfully all I did is see sparks. I was like, oh, I didn't do this right.
Jackie, not that you were right, but go ahead and hit that breaker down in the basement.
No, I don't do
totally
that.
Unrelated. Yeah, I don't understand how electricity works in that way, like with killing people sometimes. It's like maybe it's just like how healthy your heart is, because you'll see someone get shocked to shit off a 3rd rail and they'll survive, and then someone will stick a fork in an outlet and die.
Right? There's the guys who get hit by lightning and then they're like, their whole face is gone, like they try to rebuild them, but they don't have eyes anymore because their eyes shot out of their head. And you're like, how'd that happen to that guy? And then other guys, nothing happens.
That guy wishes it happened.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Some guy just get their hair singed.
What an unavoidable
hair singe? That's the best.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's cool. A cool story.
I know I've told this before. My high school girlfriend, I dated a really, really, really pretty girl my senior year, but I got her at the perfect time. She was making brownies and her hair like singed as she removed them from the oven. So like this fucking dime was like a 7 when I dated her, and then rose back out of my league again.
You were like, all right, we got 8 months till that hair grows back.
No, it was quick. Yeah. So just like the first 4 weeks I dated her, whatever, she had singed hair.
I don't think I've ever accidentally really shocked myself on anything.
You sweet summer child.
I don't
know how many times I have.
Just,
Yeah.
I would get shocked
When
on the
I,
farm all the time.
When I was a little kid, my dad managed a bunch of Domino's pizza franchises. And I don't know if you've ever been to Domino's, but they make the pizzas on these big metal tables, you know, with the dough.
Mm-hmm.
I was just hanging out, running around, and I touched the table, and for some reason there was like a wire touching it. And I just was like, ah! And I started like screaming and crying. And for some reason, everybody in the restaurant's like, what the fuck's wrong with your kid?
He clearly loves pizza.
Like, what's wrong with kids? They just start crying for no fucking reason. And then like 10 minutes later, an employee goes to make a pizza and they're like, oh, fuck, that thing's just a giant electrified table.
That's what kids like to
do.
do.
Tell you. They're like,
run around and cry with their black fingernails falling off. Like that's what,
how old were you?
I don't know. I must have been really young because I remember all going, yeah, kids just cry for no reason. And I was like, no, it hurt. And I'm like, you're retarded. And then finally, they're giant electrical
I did touch
table
the stove when I was very little.
Yeah,
say it again.
I touched the stove because I wasn't buying how hot my mom implied it was, but she was.
It's good to be suspicious.
She was telling the truth. I should have known when it melted that entire G.I. Joe foot off.
Who could have guessed your mom had your best interest in mind?
I burnt my eyelashes off and my eyebrows off before with like a gas explosion.
Acetylene?
No, different time. I mean that
was the one I thought.
No, I liked lighting gases that exploded and made fireballs and stuff. I'd feel like big
hated eyebrows.
Hated eyebrows. And didn't quite understand that if you lit like gas inside of a pipe, it would whoosh and make a fireball out one end. Got shocked so many fucking times by like 220 and like wall sockets. But I think the difference is sometimes they get like locked in. I saw a video once of they're in like a gas station and the guy goes to grab a soda and the machine is grounded out, it's shorted out through the handle. It's one of those old timey metal handles, and he's just like stuck to it. And some dude has to like drop kick him, like Sparta kick him.
Yeah,
off
you
of
get
the machine.
stuck to it. It's weird.
Yeah, your muscles clench up from the electricity. So
I've heard this test for electricity with the back of your hand is safer.
I wouldn't think about that as like a vending machine. Yeah.
I don't need to coke that bad. Let's go.
Well,
I always watch that Joe PSA where bulldozer comes along and has to take the wire off the car or whatever the fuck the black one was.
They had a PSA to not shock yourself for G.I. Joe?
Yeah, they're like, stay in the car. You remember when those guys were making those G.I. Joe PSAs, the fake ones?
Yeah.
That was one of them.
I saw one where a puddle was electrified and one person falls in the electric puddle and is dying and the other person tries to grab him and then he's shocked and he falls in and the third person's like nopes out and leaves him to die.
I want to know the answer to that question that Trump asked about how electricity and water works. Ooh. Like I want like a real electric expert to just tell me if you drop a really powerful electric battery or something that's still live, how close do I have to swim to that in a big body of water before it reaches me?
I'm not sure.
Everybody was ripping on Trump for being so stupid that he doesn't know what happens, and I'm like, low key, I don't really know what happens. Like, I mean, obviously, if I stand next to a car battery, that's nothing. But if we scale it up to something that powers a boat,
I don't know. And maybe for the best. I was watching Avengers today. I'm rewatching the whole Marvel thing in the correct order. And it's I hadn't seen Thor since it came out.
Like the chronological order, not the release order.
Correct.
So like Marvel first
I just did
type
this.
stuff. No, well, Captain America first. What's first?
Captain America's first. Yeah.
Then Captain Marvel.
So there's a part where Loki is locked in that cage they've got him in, and Black Widow's trying to interrogate him, and he calls her a mewling quim. And I had never caught that before. And I know what a mewling quim means, but I was just like, Maybe it means something else.
No, of course I do, but maybe for people in the audience.
I've never
Yeah.
heard these terms.
I
How
knew that-
how did you come across these before this? How did you ever come across these words in a sentence?
You muley.
Yeah, you have to have like debates with the gods.
I think
for this.
Quim came from like some sort of British novel I read. Like it's an old timey word.
Little Quimmin.
or maybe it might even be in it might have been in Game of Thrones as well. They may have dropped a Quim here and there.
Shit,
as well.
I missed the Quim in Game of Thrones.
So add that to your repertoire, boys. Quim.
Quim. You know, we're gonna see if that flies on Twitch.
Oh, it'll fly.
Oh, well, you
spell
can say
Quim?
Quim on there. Quim, apparently.
Yeah.
You know, phonetic.
He like Loki's really tearing her down. He's like, "You mewling Quim," and I was like, "Whoa! Did he say that?"
Quim.
Fucking imagine how much funnier it would be if he's like, I've never seen that movie, but I imagine he's like tied up with magic bracelets or something so he can't break out.
Close enough.
Just over the top. Just,
I bet there's probably a cut where he
this is
did
a
that.
PG-13 movie. Yes.
You should get it. You should give one of those a chance. Just try Captain
watched,
America, the first Avenger, on for
uh,
size.
What was the one before the end game?
It was the Infinity War.
Infinity Wars. I saw that one. So don't act like I don't know what I'm talking about. I saw Iron Man 1 in 2008. Then I saw Deadpool. And I think I saw an X-Man in there. I think that's the same universe. And and Infinity War. So I've got a pretty firm grasp.
You're
on
such
the
a piece of shit.
I feel like, Infinity Wars, like, it's a really fun and exciting movie, but if you have the build-up leading up to it, it's really excellent.
Thank you. It would be like watching Battle
you
of
put
the
on a
Bastards.
porno. Oh, okay, wait.
It would be like watching Battle of the Bastards while not knowing what was at stake or who all these people were.
Mm-hmm.
Like not hating Ramsay sufficiently, not loving Jon Snow enough.
I was going to say it's like just putting on a porno and they're like mid-bust.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, sometimes I watch compilations.
I got things to do.
Woody's watching
That timing was still just right.
just Woody watches the entire Marvel series in half an hour, just action. No dialogue at all.
Yes, that's the compilation I was talking about.
No, I remember I watched Infinity War and I said like I didn't fully understand what was going on at all, but I thought it was entertaining. It kept my attention for the most part. So I'll watch. Oh, Guardians! I watched Guardians of the Galaxy. I really like Guardians of the Galaxy. That's
great. So that's great, but that's in a different vein and a different flavor from the standard Marvel universe, which evolved over time. But I strongly suggest you either try out Captain America: The First Avenger, which is like the first one, and if you like it, you're already on good footing to like keep stepping up.
I like Thor Ragnarok a lot.
Thor Ragnarok is excellent, but I like the first Thor. Like when he lands and he's just such a fish out of water. And Natalie Portman does such a good job of being so giggly and like attracted to him, as you would be, because he's just a god. He's a literal demigod who lands, and he's just super ripped and gorgeous, and he's just smiling all the time and making all these funny little old timey statements. And she's just like, it's super cute. It's cool. I like it.
I'll have to revisit that because I got when I did the MCU just a couple days ago. I literally skipped Thor 1 and 2. Watched everything else, but
fuck Thor 2. Fuck Thor 2. Fuck Iron Man 3.
I think fuck Thor 2 so hard that I fucked Thor 1 in the process.
Iron Man 3 is the worst
That's what
of them
happened
all.
here.
There's a Thor 1, a Thor 2, and a Thor Ragnarok, which is
Correctamundo.
Thor Ragnarok.
Everybody gets 3 movies, and every one of them makes $1 billion. These things, not literally everybody. Woody's like, oh, I have documents. Not everybody.
Who's the new Captain America? The black guy?
The black guy is the new Captain
He's called Black
Right.
Panther.
No,
Hawk.
I can't think of his name. He's the bird dude.
The actor or his character name? He's the Hawkman or whatever.
Falcon?
I think
Falcon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Bird
Falcon.
dude was
Captain
pretty
America-
good.
Let Captain America retire.
Why did he retire?
Yeah. And you know what also sucks is that guy who's coming in, how come he has to be the same superhero? How come he can't be his own superhero?
Because it is a mantle which must be upheld for all time. It's a symbol.
And I
All right?
think
It's like Batman.
I think
No, he would never want to do that because then everybody in the Avengers or whatever is going to be like, he's all right, but remember the first Captain
African America. What are we going to do?
See,
Harley, back me up.
He should get his own
I told you not to say that anymore.
The whole gang.
In the comic books, there's a black Captain America, right? They sort of go back and forth, maybe.
In the comic books, if my memory serves me correctly, that the guy who plays Falcon or the Falcon in the comics and Bucky, the guy with the metal arm in the
Winter
comics,
Soldier.
they each have comics where they've taken up the mantle. So for people who read the comics, when you were getting to that part of the movie, you were like, oh, I wonder which guy is going to be the Captain America. That's why Bucky's like, it looks good on you when he has the shield.
Yeah, I think Bucky became Captain America
I appreciate
in the
that
storyline.
more.
I think Bucky became Captain America maybe in the storyline where Captain America was revealed to be part of Hydra and then went super rogue. Yeah.
And I like, speaking of like different mantles and, stuff like that. Like I like there's I never read a comic or anything, but I collect the figures, but I saw a figure. It's Punisher and War Machine as one. So it's like Frank Castle, the Punisher, in an Iron Man suit, the War Machine one with like 1 billion guns, and he's got like the skull painted on the front of it.
Yep.
I'm like, that's just good synergy right there, You
ever watch that YouTube channel, Comics Explained? That guy who just breaks down. We had him as a guest once, but he breaks down comics, and he has such a passion for them that he's a pleasure to listen to. Like he's just like, and then Captain America. Oh, you're not going to believe this. All right, he shows up wearing the Green Goblin costume. No one can believe it. Spider-Man shits himself. And you're just like, this is the nerdiest thing I've ever done. 45 minutes into the
Tony Stark thought of that, and there were adult diapers built into the costume.
Yeah.
Thank God you and Woody were there for that episode interview thing, because all my questions, I'm like, all right, but who can punch the hardest?
That's a good question for him, because he makes videos like top 10 strongest DC characters, top 10 strongest Marvel characters, and then he breaks them down into all the subcategories, because there are magical characters and there are like spin-off characters and alternate universe characters, like most powerful weapons in the Marvel universe. Like he'll break them down. Like
he did break down the most powerful people, and like there was some like the equivalent of the Valar and the Lord of the Rings. Like it's like, oh, but there's all the superheroes, but then there's like 6 spirit beings that hang out in the ether, and they kind of control.
And then there's the one above all. Yeah, there's a whole hierarchy.
The one above. That's exactly what I was thinking. The one above all. I remember that card. Like seeing that card as a kid, it was just like a white card with like this like shape of a man with the universe inside of it. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and he's the writer of the comic. Like he's a stand-in, a metaphor for.
It's fun that the writer of the comic put himself in as the most powerful superhero, which isn't wrong, but I like it.
Well, he is though. He could be like,
I see how he did
Superman's dead, and Batman too.
And then in terms of like, in terms of strength, there's a natural progression where you have to keep ramping it up, right? You can invent Spider-Man and have him struggle in a 1v2 fist fight with bank robbers, right? But as this story keeps getting told, the opponents have to keep getting higher and higher ranks. So Spider-Man has to continue to rank up. At the beginning, Superman has a hard time like pushing a mountain. And then you go fast forward a little bit, and I'm making this up, but now he's lassoing the sun and twirling it around and tossing it at people. He gets stronger.
Superman couldn't fly at first. In Action Comics #1, the early versions, he leaps tall buildings. And remember the old tagline? Leaps tall buildings in a single bound. There's a reason he's leaping them and not just flying from one to the other fast enough to turn the earth backwards in time. They just kept making him better and stronger.
Yeah.
You were talking about.
I feel like people back then were just idiots, though. They were like, look at him leap. And people were like, hey, it's flying at that point.
I like how they cast people that, like, I could beat in an arm wrestling contest to be superheroes. Me against Adam West, I got a good shot at that. That fat old dude that played Superman, like, literally.
I could beat the shit out of that one that fell off.
Well, hang on a minute. Because, all right, Adam West, I'm going to Google this. Like, I'll check myself. I'm going to say he's 6'4".
Oh, that changes things a bit. He might kick my ass.
He's dead.
Ooh, I like.
you
I'm
could
getting.
arm
Shriveled
wrestle- you
up.
could
All right,
arm
he's only
wrestle Burt
6'2". My
Ward.
bad. For some reason I thought he was very tall. Maybe it's Christopher Reeve. How
You
tall
could
is
arm
he?
wrestle Burt Ward.
About this high.
Yeah. Christopher Reeve died at about 4 feet tall.
Got hurt.
You want a Kyle pick for this week as
Yes.
we're nearing the end?
You actually did.
All right, here's the movie.
I'm gonna write
This movie's called Digstown. Digstown. Okay. What it's about? Somebody runs their mouth.
DIGS.
2 G's. Just like your favorite word. Bigger. So it's about this guy who runs his mouth in a small town and makes a bet, and I believe the bet goes something like this: I know a guy who could whip any 10 men in this town. He says I could beat any 10 men in this town, any 10 of them, line them up one after another. I could whip their asses. And he gets in this silly bet, and I think they alter the bet. He comes in, he says, all right, how about this? The slick talking guy who's the James Woods character. I think they alter it to, I've got a guy who will fight for me, who will fight any 10 men who live in this county, in the county of Digstown or whatever it is, or in the town of it. And they said, and it's it's a large amount of money. Like it's 50,000, 100,000 in small town money in the 90s. And the thing is, he knows an ex-boxer, a guy who woulda, coulda, shoulda been like a heavyweight contender. He knows this guy. He's played by Louis Gossett Jr., really good actor. And he goes and digs this guy up. And this guy's old. Even in the movie, he's old. He's like late 40s, 50s maybe. And he's like, look, you got to beat up a bunch of farm boys and a couple of high school jocks, okay? It's Digstown, all right? It's a population of 3,200. And he's all right, I could do this. But it's I think it is 10. It's 10 or maybe even 12 and like I think they negotiated out so that maybe it's even over the course of 2 nights or something. They're really specific about how much time between each fight and everything. And he's going through them. He's fucking destroying them one after another. Because some of them are, like you said, like high school jocks who don't know what they're doing. Because some of them they're giving him varied amounts of trouble, right? One of them's a real tough fucker. Some
he's
of them
like
just
pub
in and
stomping, right?
Yeah,
because he's like a pro, and these guys,
The problem is, inside the county of Digstown is a state prison.
Oh, this seems like a cool movie. No, don't tell me anyway. Don't tell me.
Yeah, so it's a good
30-year-old movie.
It's a 30-year-old movie. I've only seen it once. My memory of this movie was that it thoroughly entertained me when I watched it, but at the time I was 15 years old. So 15-year-old Kyle highly recommends it. It's a Kyle pick for the week. Digstown.
I'll watch it. This movie's a year younger than me. Like that's how fucking old this movie is.
There you go.
All right.
You sure you don't want to see Avatar? Like it's kind of a
Nah, I will once again be rewatching King of the
Watch
Hill.
Louis Gossett Jr. Yeah,
I will stick to my autistic.
Is Louis Gossett Jr. alive? He's got.
He's certainly dead by now. $5 says he's dead.
$5 says I misspell his name.
Louis Gossett Jr.
I'll take that.
Is alive, 86 years young.
Jesus.
86 years young. Living.
Good for Louis Gossett Jr.
Good for Louis.
6'4". That's don't big people die sooner?
I was gonna say tall people.
He's got good reach.
Yeah, but black don't crack.
True.
And he also 6'4".
Touche.
6'4" isn't at that point where like you start getting like goofy shit when you're old. Like 6'8". That's a different
Big
story.
boy.